Welcome to my little garden here. Got some flowers, got some birds. This was I was like making this project and then got totally distracted, like putting in all of these little details. It looks nice. I think this is only gonna work on this monitor size though, because if you like go to like a smaller monitor size, won't look quite right, but it'll be close enough. All right. Whoa, look at that. This is the wave format, a sample rate of 20. Cool. It almost looks like random noise kind of, but all right, well let's head to the update screen. All right, here we are at the update screen. You can see the background in the video are still the same because or I mean the default project in the video are still the same because I'm currently recording it, so it'd be weird if it was already there. But the notes are all new. So, yeah, basically, this is a bunch of like little UI improvements and then also pushing the new transport system a little bit. I didn't get any reports of issues with the transport system last time around. So I did a little more stuff with it. The main things are going to be, and some of it was in that opening project there, but there's this step-sem modulation device. So it's a new modulator that's like step-based, and it's synced to the BPM. There's a new picker overlay screen. I know I've been talking about that a lot. The devices being up here no longer. I will show you what that looks like in a second. There's this new cards device for randomizing scale and BPM. This was inspired by Patch of the Day, comments on these videos. They told me to check out their Twitch channel because they use sdaw on it. I checked it out, and they're super talented. They can play like a lot of instruments. But they do this thing where like I'll put their link in the description. But they do this thing where they pick like a random card and that's like the key and like the scale. So I was like, oh, that'd be cool as a device. So yeah, made that. And then at long last, LFO has sync support. Talk about lock mode in a second. New context menu system, window ordering for decorating things a little better. And then some more samples for stut, which is very cool. Then some bug fixes. All right, let's open up that garden project. All right, so yeah, because there's a lot of stuff going on here that is relevant to what is happening. Let's switch this up a little bit so then we get like a. Oh, we can just we can click cards. So let's start with cards. We can click it. You can see it changes the BPM, the scale, and the key. And it gets you fresh new idea. Like, I mean, this is almost like a different sounding song now. So cool. It's great to just like, run it on like either like a demo project or like just a project you're working on to, I mean, save it first, otherwise you'll lose your scale and BPM, but it's pretty cool. You can just like find like a scale or BPM you would have never actually tried, and it usually turns out pretty cool because everything's tuned. So let's click it a couple more times, see what we can find, but I already kind of like this one. This one's pretty. So cool. You can hear there's a little bit of detune, especially if you have a delay in the project. That's the only time you'll hear like a detune because the old tuning is still in like the memory of the delay line. Also for like reverb, right? If there's anything with like a tail, you know, those can't be pitched on the spot because they're kind of in motion. But everything else is pretty much instant. This is a pretty cool one, this like super slow jam going on here. So yeah, that's cards. You'll notice I can drag around, but I can't drag any windows. You'll see if I try and drag a window, it drags the whole screen. It's because we're in the new lock mode, as you can see. So it says click to edit up here. Another thing you can do is right click, oh not there, on the desktop, and like exit the lock mode or enter it. You can also hold control and click on the background, kind of like Max MSP, or you can just click up here. And what this is basically doing is, let's put ourselves in lock mode. This is to prevent you from, if you have decorative elements or you're performing live and you're like moving around super quickly and you don't want to accidentally drag something, you can see I'm clicking on top of this picture object, right? And it is not moving because we're in lock mode. Now, if we left lock mode, now when I drag it, it moves. But we can just control click on the background, now we're in lock mode. Good for live performance stuff. Yeah, and so you can do it with the new context menu there. The next thing you can do is you can now lock. So if I right click on anything, it could be this or a pick, but it's mostly for pick, is you can have layer control now. So you can bring something to the front, or you can send it to the back. So by default, here, let's create a new, you can still create things in lock mode. Lock mode is just about movement. So let's actually turn this off. So you can see, like, oftentimes what happens is people have like a big background like this, right? And then you want to like, you want it to stay in the background, but every time you try and drag it, drags the window and it brings it to the front. So to fix this, right, there's send to back. But again, if you just click and drag again, it's going to be brought to the front. So we say lock layer, right? And now now you have the option to unlock it. But right now it's locked, which means that if I put something else in front of it and click on it again, it does not jump to the top. It stays exactly where it is. Right? So it stays in the background if you want it in the background, right? So let's send it back. So now it goes behind everything, right? And that's how you can do kind of layer control. Like for example, this flower is behind this grass. But if I wanted the grass behind the flower, I could do send it back. And now the flower's in front of the grass. And you can just unlock it, and then it goes back to its normal procedure. So lock to layer, send to back. That's how you create a background, basically. Switch it up one more time. Cool. Let's stick with that. All right, so that's that. Talk about the new picker overlay. By the way, this click to lock thing, I think I'm going to change how this looks. This is just kind of like temporary to like push it out there. But let me know what you think of it and if there's like a better placement for that. Absolutely. All right, so all the devices are gone from the top because when we hit P or click this plus button in the bottom middle right here, we get the new picker menu. Comes with this little tip marquee down here. And here are all the devices, and they're sorted by like what they are, which makes it a lot easier to like find specific things. Like, or if you forget what something does, you can hover over it and it will tell you what it does and what type of thing it is. So slush is an effect, macro is a modulator, crush is an effect, drum set's an instrument, right? And you can click and this will create them on your screen, or you can still use N to create things. As one of the tips down here says, I don't know where it is. Well, it'll come around eventually. It says like press N to create a little thing there. Let's get rid of this. Oh, we're moving fast. Good. Okay, so the next thing is, this is just a side note because I'm remembering it right now, but Sketch is going to get like a total rework. I want to redo it in a better way. In the future, what's going to happen is I'm basically going to like deprecate this device, but projects using it will still work because I'm going to keep the code in there that Sketch runs on. But I'm going to write basically like a Sketch version 2, and that will become the new Sketch, if that makes sense. So that's what's coming up for Sketch. feel free to use it. Your projects will work into the future forever, but how it currently works is going to be deprecated because I want to add more functionality to it. All right, so StepSM, this is a super cool one using the new transport system. Basically, you've got 16 steps, and you can set the number of steps, right? So now it's at 16. And I currently have this controlling the slice volume. Yeah, slices volume here. So the break only comes in when let me turn this off so it's more obvious what's happening here. Here, let me I have to turn off this gain as well. All right, so now it's gain that it's connected to is always on. So we can see when it's on these on notes, it is on. But these don't have to be on or off. They can be in between. So this determines the level. So this is going to increase in volume. But I mean, you can connect it to anything. So this could be the frequency. This could be time on a delay. This could be, right, it's a modulator. It can do anything. And it has a couple of different randomization modes. Oh, and the length changes the speed at which it moves. So, right. So now each one is a 30-second note. Each one is a 16th note. 16 note dotted. This specific sequencer is transport based only. I may add a free mode to it. Maybe. For right now, it's transport based. But yeah, what's cool about this is you can do like 12 steps, and there's no like jumping, or there will be no jumping back when the transport becomes unlimited. But in the meantime, the transport is still 16 bar loop. I'm going to add that soonish so that you can make it any number of bars. But this, if you had it set to 12 and the transport was unlimited, then it would go on forever without any like weird phase resets. It's got 3 different randomization modes. So here's just, well, let's open it up fully. So here's normal randomization. This is binary randomization, so on off. And this is smart randomization, which just comes with a bunch of different cool little modes. Right? So some of them have structure, or the structure is like a little jittery. Get some interesting sounds out of it. And this is the repeat randomize button, which basically when you click it, every time it gets to the end, it's whatever mode you selected will like trigger. So just like that, it's a new one. So if we set the steps lower, even lower than that, let's do like 4. So it's resetting every 4 here. Make binary. And it even works at 1, so you can just keep it on 1 if you want like a cool visualizer. You can switch it, so now it's just in random mode. Now it's in binary. Now it's in smart. And then just smoothing. I mean, I can pull out the scope here, but you probably already know what this does. It does so smoothing and then the curve, the exponent. Yeah, maybe I should add free sync to this. I'm just trying to figure out about where it would go. Maybe like down here, like sync or free, but then it's kind of like disconnected from, I don't know, let me know what you think. So that's steps M. What else? Oh, LFO has a sync mode now, at long last. So you can see right now it is modulating the frequency at 1 bar noise. So it's picking a random number. This one I'll pull the scope out for, I guess. Let's connect this up to the scope. So every bar it's choosing like a random number, but we can make this super quick. Happens a lot faster. And of course it works with like square. The reason it's like in the middle is because I have the min set to 26 and the max to 65. Actually, let's just max it out. Right? It's kind of a cool sound. Wait. So you probably saw that phase reset right there because it went back from 16, because we're probably on like a dotted or something. Yeah. Again, transport will be unlimited in the future. Just for now, I'm keeping it 16 because I want to figure out what the UI for that will look like. But cool. So finally has sync. I know that was like top of the feedback thing, so I can finally mark that off. One thing you'll notice is LFO is taller now, and this might affect some previous projects. The next update is going to feature that that deprecation system where something like that won't happen, basically. So if a device size is going to change anytime in the future, it is going to be like switch to a new version, so to speak. So old projects will still be on the old visual of it, while new projects like will use the new version, if that makes sense. Just to prevent like visual inconsistencies between projects, because compatibility is important. Yeah, so if there's ever like, or this also applies to like, let's say I like change the delay algorithm or something like that, like the algorithm changes for it a little bit, such that like modulation is different, you know, that would affect the sound of projects. So I would create a new version of delay, and then you'll always be able to use the old versions of devices if you like prefer them for some reason or something like that. I'm gonna add a UI settings things to like enable deprecated devices, but that'll come probably next videos when I plan to work on that. But yeah, I think that is everything. I think I need to, let me pull up the list again. Okay, so whenever steps in, went over the new picker, cards, LFO, lock mode, context menu, window ordering. I don't need to go over this one, but there's like a bunch of new samples for stud. I think like 20 or something like that somebody sent. So thank you to them. Yeah, oh, and then just a couple of like bug fixes. So I didn't realize you could try and modulate a device itself, which is not a good idea. I think it just stops the signal flow. But I just like prevented that from even happening now, so you can't do that anymore. Oh, there's some bugs where like if you had the modulation picker enabled and then created a new project, it would still be enabled, and there was like no way to turn it off. Oh, that's what it says right there. Oh, right, and this was related to just some like small background settings things and cleanup. But yeah, I think that's everything. Got through it quick. These videos have been growing in length, so I'm trying to keep them as short as possible. But yeah, cool. So that's the update. The next update is going to be the deprecation support. Maybe a settings menu. I have at least one device prepared, a new instrument. And then maybe adding new transport stuff to at least one existing device, because that will be like the test for the deprecation system. So like I'm probably going to change how STUT does the number of steps, because that would be a good one. Yeah. Because right now it does that like weird phase reset. So if I could get it onto the new step system, that how like steps M works, that would be a good test of the deprecation system, because like that's a big difference between sound, you know, or like functionality. So the old version will be deprecated and still usable, but the new version will have the new steps thing. But yeah, cool. And this will be updated so that the video you're watching is right here, and the project back there is the garden project. Let's check out this guy playing trombone for cows. Funny video of the day here. Farmer Derek played Lord for these cows. I had to skip forward a bit because it takes a while for or here I can skim it super quick, but like these cows start coming over the hill as he plays this. Am I gonna get a copyright claim for this? I don't think so. This is crazy. They're all gonna like charge. Oh no, he just sped it up. It's interesting how they're like so like timid. Um I wonder if they like the sound or it's like interesting or if this means it's like food time or something like that. You know what I mean? Um I like to think they just like it. And when they're mooing, they're trying to like sing it, you know what I mean? Cool. They're asking for an encore. Oh, what is this? Gave my cows the Bellagio for Christmas? Mulagio. This guy's spoiling his cows. That's funny. Um, all right, yeah, that is the 1.0.8 update.